Have you ever wondered how intimacy changes with age and how understanding these changes can transform your love life? In today's video, we'll explore the psychological and physical aspects of intimacy, especially for men over 50, and how it impacts both partners. From enhancing emotional connection to practical tips backed by science, this video will provide you with the tools to maintain a healthy and satisfying sex life. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell to avoid missing any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. Did you know that 1 in every 7,000 women is born without a vagina? This remarkable and rare condition is called vaginal agenesis, a term that may sound foreign and almost impossible to imagine, yet it's the lived reality for these women. The condition often goes undetected until the girl reaches puberty, when the absence of menstruation reveals this life-altering fact. Imagine the emotional shock, not only for the young woman but for her family as well, when they are confronted with this unexpected news. It's a moment that can stir feelings of confusion, fear, and even isolation. But within this challenge, there is also resilience. Many women with vaginal agenesis find ways to lead full, intimate, and loving lives, thanks to medical advancements and an unbreakable human spirit. This brings us to another fascinating curiosity. In North America, studies have uncovered a surprising link between the use of emojis and sexual behavior. Women who frequently use emojis in their text messages are statistically more likely to send nude photos when the situation allows. It's funny to think that something as innocent as a winking face or heart emoji can hint at a deeper level of openness and willingness to engage in more intimate exchanges. But in today's digital world, where so much of our communication is filtered through screens, emojis have become a modern language of flirtation and emotional expression. They allow people to express feelings that words sometimes cannot, building an emotional bridge that can lead to physical connection. Now, let's dive into one of the most captivating aspects of intimacy, the power of touch, specifically in places we might overlook. For example, did you know that kissing a woman's neck or gently licking her ears can trigger an overwhelming sense of pleasure in her vagina? It's astonishing, isn't it? These delicate, often ignored areas are packed with nerve endings that respond intensely to gentle, loving attention. Imagine the warmth of soft lips on the nape of the neck or the playful brush of a tongue against the earlobe. Such tender gestures can unlock sensations that ripple through the entire body. It's proof that intimacy is not just about the obvious. Sometimes, the greatest pleasures lie in the small, quiet moments that connect us on a deeper, emotional level. The human body, in all its complexity, holds so many secrets waiting to be discovered. And knowing these little tricks can lead to a much richer, more satisfying, intimate life. But human intimacy is not the only place where passion takes on an unexpected form. In the animal kingdom, we see an extreme version of this with the black widow spider. This infamous spider doesn't just mate. She sometimes devours her partner during or after the act. If she's particularly hungry, she can consume up to 20 males in a single day. It's a gruesome yet oddly fascinating reminder of how primal instincts and survival drive behavior in the wild. While humans don't face the same life or death consequences in intimacy, the intensity and urgency we feel are no less powerful. For those of us looking to ignite or reignite that primal passion in our own lives, there's hope. With the Animal Libido Guide, an organic sexual stimulant, you can explore aphrodisiac recipes, natural techniques, and wellness tips that have the potential to transform your sex life completely. It's all about connecting with your instincts, embracing your sensuality, and enjoying the fullness of physical and emotional pleasure. Don't wait. Click on the first pinned comment to grab your digital copy and begin this exciting journey. We only have limited units available, so make sure to seize this opportunity to elevate not just your love life, but your entire sense of well-being. Switching back to the human side of things, did you know that being in love with your partner can lead to the most incredible sexual experiences of your life? According to the American Sociological Association, love isn't just a romantic notion. It's a catalyst for deep, soul-stirring intimacy. When you're in love, every touch, every kiss, every shared moment carries an emotional weight that enhances the physical experience in ways that casual encounters simply can't match. It's not just about the act itself. It's about the connection that runs deeper than the surface, making every moment feel more profound and meaningful. Think about the times you felt most in love. Wasn't the intimacy you shared with your partner infinitely more fulfilling than just the physical sensations? It's that emotional bond that elevates lovemaking into something spiritual, almost transcendent. However, it's interesting to note that not all moments are ideal for intimacy. For instance, about 70% of men report that they avoid sex during their partner's menstrual period. This reluctance may come from a variety of reasons: discomfort, lack of understanding, or even societal taboos. But for those willing to explore intimacy during this time, it can open up new pathways for connection and pleasure. In fact, for some individuals with a keen sense of smell, certain natural body odors like sweat or vaginal discharge can be incredibly arousing, adding another dimension to sexual encounters. The body's natural responses, like scent, can act as powerful triggers for arousal, deepening the experience in unexpected ways. Now, here's something even more incredible. Frequent orgasms don't just feel good. They can improve sperm quality. This is particularly important for couples who may be facing mild fertility challenges. Studies show that regular sexual activity helps to reduce DNA damage in sperm, boosting fertility and improving the chances of conception. It's almost as if our bodies are designed to thrive through regular, loving connections. So not only does intimacy bring couples closer together emotionally and physically, but it can also lead to healthier, more viable sperm, enhancing fertility in the process. It's a beautiful cycle. Love, connection, pleasure, and life are all intertwined. So, whether you're looking to deepen your connection with your partner, explore the full potential of your body's pleasure zones, or improve your sexual health, the key is embracing all aspects of intimacy, both the physical and the emotional. Our bodies and minds are capable of so much more than we often give them credit for. By unlocking these secrets and tapping into your natural desires, you can create a more fulfilling, exciting, and satisfying intimate life that resonates on every level: physical, emotional, and even spiritual. Masturbation, often referred to as solo sex, holds the power to enhance not only your sexual well-being, but also your overall sense of confidence. According to Norval, a psychologist from Istanbul, Turkey, who specializes in working with individuals and couples, solo sex offers many of the same physical and emotional benefits as partnered sex, plus some unique advantages. One of the most significant benefits is the opportunity to truly understand your own body. Exploring what feels good on your terms can lead to a deeper sense of self-awareness and sexual satisfaction. This personal journey of pleasure can boost your self-confidence as you become more in tune with your desires and needs. Sex, whether solo or with a partner, is more than just a physical act. It can foster a powerful emotional connection. In the context of partnered sex, the release of oxytocin, often called the love hormone, plays a crucial role in deepening the bond between two people. After sex, oxytocin floods the brain, making you feel relaxed, secure, and closer to your partner. This hormone not only enhances intimacy, but also increases trust between partners. Imagine the power of a hormone that can bring people closer together, even making strangers trust one another more. Research has shown that when strangers were given a nasal spray containing oxytocin, they exhibited higher levels of trust toward each other. Fascinating, right? It's proof of how our bodies are wired to connect emotionally through physical closeness. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Shifting the conversation to sexual identity. Did you know that many lesbian, gay, and bisexual people have had heterosexual experiences in their youth, but continue to embrace who they truly are? Sexuality is complex, fluid, and deeply personal, and these early encounters don't necessarily define one's sexual orientation. Similarly, Some heterosexual individuals have had same-sex experiences, but continue to identify as straight. It's a reminder that sexuality exists on a broad spectrum, and each person's journey is uniquely their own. On the topic of sexual preferences, some lesser-known fetishes might surprise you. Take formicophilia, for example. This is a sexual interest in having insects or worms crawl on the body. To some, it may sound strange or even unsettling, but for those who experience it, it's just another expression of how diverse human desires can be. Sexual preferences can vary widely from person to person, and while some interests may be more common than others, they all reflect the incredible range of human sexual experience. Sexual health is not just about pleasure. It's also deeply connected to physical well-being, particularly for men. Regular sexual activity, at least once a week, has been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease, stroke, and even diabetes. For men, maintaining an active sex life may also increase their chances of living a longer, healthier life. Studies suggest that sexually active men are more likely to live past 80 years of age. It's remarkable how something as enjoyable as sex can have such profound health benefits, reinforcing the importance of prioritizing intimacy throughout life. Another interesting aspect of sexual behavior is the widespread nature of sexual fantasies. Did you know that many people have fantasized about group sex at some point in their lives? More than half of those individuals have taken that fantasy a step further and made it a reality. It's a striking example of how human desires, even those that may seem unconventional, are more common than we might think. Fantasies offer a safe mental space where people can explore their sexual curiosities and desires, and for some, these fantasies become exciting experiences that enrich their sexual lives. Sexuality, in all its forms, whether it's solo exploration, partnered intimacy, or even acting on fantasies, offers us a deeper connection to ourselves and others. It's a vital part of life that not only enhances pleasure, but can improve both emotional and physical health. So whether you're engaging in solo sex, nurturing a loving relationship, or exploring the vast range of human desire, remember that each step along the way contributes to a more fulfilling, satisfying, and joyful life. It's truly fascinating to consider that approximately 1% of the world's population identifies as asexual. That means these individuals don't experience strong sexual attraction toward others, and yet they still live full, meaningful lives, often finding deep connections in ways that transcend the physical. I can't help but think about how misunderstood or even marginalized some asexual people might feel in a world that seems to be constantly bombarded with sexual imagery and expectations. In a culture that often equates intimacy with sexual activity, it must be difficult to explain that for them, love and companionship don't always follow those same rules. It's a reminder that human desire is as diverse as it is beautiful, and it opens my eyes to how deeply personal our experiences of intimacy truly are. And when I think about how far back the history of sex goes, scientists believe that an animal called Dorotea was the first living creature to engage in sexual activity around 30 million years ago. It blows my mind. Just imagine this tiny, almost forgotten animal set the stage for one of the most intimate acts that would become central to human life and connection. It's incredible to realize that this biological function, which began so long ago, would evolve into something that not only ensures the survival of species, but also becomes a source of deep pleasure, emotional bonding, and even conflict for humans. It's a strange, almost poetic connection that we share with life from millions of years ago. Speaking of connections, I find it both surprising and oddly relatable that statistics show around 1 in 5 people has had sex with a coworker. It makes you wonder what happens in those office environments, the unspoken glances, the late nights working together, that lead people down that path. There's something almost inevitable about it, isn't there? After all, we spend so much time at work, sometimes more than with our families. It's no surprise that emotional connections can deepen in such environments, but still, there's a risk involved. Workplace relationships can be messy, with professional and personal lines blurring in ways that can either lead to a thrilling secret romance or a complicated fallout. It makes me think about how fragile human relationships can be, especially when desire and emotions are involved. One study by Mars Punham found that nearly half of singles, about 44%, experience orgasm almost every time they sleep with someone they've already been intimate with, such as an ex-partner. I find this particularly interesting because it speaks to the comfort and ease that familiarity can bring. In a world where everything seems to be about the new experiences, new people, new places, something is grounding and reassuring about reconnecting with someone from your past. It's almost as if the emotional barriers that might exist with someone new are lowered, allowing you to fully relax and enjoy the experience. It makes me wonder how many of us find ourselves returning to past lovers for that very reason, not because of unresolved feelings, but because of the sense of safety and predictability that comes with knowing someone's body as well as your own. Then there's that fascinating phenomenon known as the orgasmic cutaneous frisson, that spine-tingling sensation we experience when music or art deeply moves us. Isn't it magical how our bodies can react in such profound ways to non-physical stimuli? This sensation isn't just limited to intimate encounters. It can be triggered by an emotionally stirring piece of music, an evocative movie scene, or even a work of art that seems to speak directly to your soul. For me, it's those moments when I hear a song that I connect with so deeply and suddenly I feel chills running down my spine. It's as if the music is awakening something primal and beautiful inside. And yet, what makes it even more special is the fact that we can never predict when it will happen. It's these little surprises in life, those fleeting moments of joy that make everything feel so much richer and more meaningful. And speaking of richness, each woman's path to orgasm is as unique as a snowflake. I find that comparison so beautiful because it reflects the individuality of every woman's experience. It's not just about physical pleasure. It's about the deeply personal way a woman's body responds to touch, to connection, to intimacy. The female body is truly a work of art, with its nerve endings distributed uniquely across the genitals, making each experience distinct and special. I think about how often we reduce such a beautiful experience to something mechanical when, in reality, it's anything but. There's so much power in the knowledge that every orgasm is different, and it's a testament to the complexity and beauty of female pleasure. On a biological level, vaginal contractions during an orgasm are the uterus attempting to draw in sperm, a reminder that nature has its purpose behind pleasure. It's fascinating how the body's need for reproduction can align so perfectly with the pursuit of pleasure. But for men, there's an interesting twist. Research suggests that the more sexual partners a man has throughout his life, the less satisfaction he might feel with someone he truly likes. It almost seems like a paradox, doesn't it? You would think that more experience leads to more satisfaction, but perhaps it's the pursuit of novelty that eventually dulls the deeper joys of intimacy. It's like chasing after something shiny, only to realize that what truly matters isn't the number of people you've been with, but the depth of the connection you share with the one you're with now. When it comes to young love, or perhaps more accurately, fleeting love, it's telling that more than half of people aged 18 to 24 admit that their last partner was just a fling. It's a sign of the times, perhaps an era where we're always moving from one thing to the next, never quite slowing down long enough to form deep attachments. There's a kind of beauty in that freedom, but also a sadness. It's as if we're constantly searching for something more, something better, but maybe in that pursuit, we miss the chance to truly connect with someone. I often wonder if later in life, these fleeting relationships will feel like missed opportunities for something more meaningful. Then there's oral sex, which people often think of as being safer than other forms of sex. And while that's true to an extent, we sometimes forget that infections can still be transmitted through the exchange of fluids. It's one of those things that's not talked about enough, but is so important to be aware of. On a lighter note, it's interesting to know that around 55% of women and 50% of men enjoy being erotically bitten. There's something primal about it, something that connects us to our more animalistic instincts. It's a reminder that even in the most intimate moments, we're still connected to something deeper, something raw and untamed. And here's a little-known fact that I find beautiful. The The word clitoris comes from the Greek word meaning divine or goddess. How perfect is that? It reflects just how powerful and sacred female pleasure is, something that has been revered throughout history, even if it wasn't always openly acknowledged. It's a beautiful reminder that pleasure isn't something to be ashamed of. It's something to be celebrated, honored, and cherished. For men, anal orgasms are very real, and they can be incredibly intense, thanks to the stimulation of the prostate during anal sex. It's another reminder that pleasure isn't limited to one specific area of the body, but can be experienced in so many ways. For women, the A point, located near the uterus, can offer similar waves of intense pleasure when stimulated. These hidden erogenous zones show us just how complex, diverse, and deeply personal the human body is. It's as though our bodies are filled with secret places, each offering its unique kind of pleasure if only we take the time to explore them. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Ultimately, I think the takeaway here is that human intimacy is as varied and intricate as we are as individuals. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to pleasure, to connection, to desire. And that's what makes it so beautiful. It's about finding what works for you, what brings you joy, and what makes you feel truly connected to another person. Whether that connection is physical, emotional, or spiritual, the human experience is so rich and full of layers. And when it comes to intimacy, every moment we spend exploring those layers is a moment well spent. When it comes to winning a woman's heart, the complexity of her desires can be captivating. It's a fascinating blend of emotions, physical sensations, and psychological factors that all come into play. For some women, a simple kiss on the neck is enough to ignite passion. Over 97% of women consider this area to be incredibly erotic. It's almost magical how something as small as a soft kiss in the right place can send shivers down the spine and spark an intense connection. Yet, what works for one woman might not work for another, especially when it comes to the elusive G-spot. Its location varies for each woman, and the sensation it creates can differ greatly. It's a reminder that every woman's body is unique, a beautiful puzzle waiting to be discovered, explored, and appreciated. On the subject of pleasure, it's surprising to learn that only 1% of women can achieve orgasm through nipple stimulation alone. That stat highlights how diverse female pleasure is. What works wonders for one woman might leave another feeling nothing at all. And let's not forget the fantasy world, where oral sex reigns supreme for both men and women. The idea of being completely focused on another person's pleasure, or having your partner focus solely on you, is such an intimate, vulnerable act. It's no wonder it tops the list of fantasies for so many. The female orgasm itself is a thing of wonder. It can last anywhere from 3 to 51 seconds, a range that feels both extraordinary and mysterious. What's even more incredible is that women can experience ejaculation during sex, though it's important to note that ejaculation and orgasm are not the same. This is a common misconception, but once we understand the difference, it's easier to embrace the full spectrum of female pleasure. Speaking of pleasure, how amazing is it that the clitoris has twice as many nerve endings as the penis? With 8,000 nerve endings packed into that tiny organ, it's no wonder it's such a powerful source of sensation. Yet, despite this, only about 18% of women can orgasm solely through penetration. This reminds us of the importance of clitoral stimulation and how it plays a key role in female satisfaction. There's something magical about the female body during orgasm. The entire brain lights up, almost like fireworks going off in the mind. It's as if the body and mind are working together to deliver an experience of pure pleasure, leaving the woman ready for even more intimacy soon after. Yet, despite these incredible capabilities, nearly 30% of women say they struggle to reach orgasm, and 1 in 10 has never had that experience. It's heartbreaking to think that so many women are missing out on one of life's greatest joys. Often, women prefer more subtle, gentle movements that touch the G-spot area rather than deeper penetrations, proving that sometimes less really is more when it comes to pleasure. It's also fascinating how committed couples tend to experience more orgasms than those engaging in one-night stands. There's something about the emotional bond that seems to heighten physical pleasure. Maybe it's the trust, the intimacy, the shared experiences. Whatever it is, it creates a deeper connection that allows for more frequent and satisfying orgasms. And let's not overlook the small, tender gestures that can strengthen these bonds. Many women love being kissed while they sleep. It's such an innocent and sweet expression of love. One that says, "I care about you in the most genuine way." Exploring each other's fantasies, whether big or small, can also bring couples closer together. When partners feel safe enough to share their deepest desires, it creates a space where pleasure and connection flourish. But communication, honest, open communication, is the real key to unlocking what each person enjoys in bed. The clitoris, for example, is often misunderstood or overlooked, but it's such a powerful source of pleasure with those 8,000 nerve endings we talked about earlier. The groin area, too, is highly sensitive, and it's the little details, like keeping a beard well-trimmed, that can prevent discomfort during intimate moments. Physical touch becomes so much more pleasurable when both partners feel comfortable, and taking care of yourself, even in small ways, makes a big difference. And while physical exercise is important for overall health, it also plays a huge role in attraction. Women are often drawn to active men, not necessarily because of a perfect physique, but because physical activity signals vitality, confidence, and self-care. Sadly, many people, far more than we might think, are dissatisfied with their sex lives. It's a topic that often stays hidden in the shadows, but dissatisfaction is far more common than we realize. And part of this dissatisfaction can come from the sexual positions we choose. For instance, the missionary position offers a sense of closeness, focusing on shared sensations between partners. On the other hand, positions like doggy style allow for deeper penetration, which can be more pleasurable for some. It's all about finding what works for both partners, and there's no one-size-fits-all approach to intimacy. Interestingly, women are also naturally attuned to scent, particularly the hormone testosterone, which plays a significant role in attraction. There are even colognes that mimic the scent of testosterone, tapping into this primal, almost instinctual draw. But here's the catch. Studies suggest that couples who are too similar in their characteristics might not stay together as long. It's almost as if we need a bit of contrast, a touch of the unfamiliar, to keep the spark alive. As life stages change, so do our desires and needs. During menopause, for example, some women experience an increase in sexual desire, while others may find their emotional and physical needs shifting. It's a reminder that intimacy isn't just about the physical. It's about navigating these changes together, adjusting expectations, and finding new ways to connect. Proper sexual education is crucial in this process, as it reduces anxiety and improves sexual health. When couples are informed and open, they can explore solutions that work for both of them. One of the most beautiful things about attraction is that it's not always based on physical appearance. Sapiosexuality, for instance, is when someone is attracted to another person's intelligence. It's a reminder that our minds can be just as alluring as our bodies, and that deep conversations, shared ideas, and intellectual connection can ignite just as much passion as physical touch. And we need to debunk some common myths, like the idea of the dead vagina, which suggests that a woman loses sensitivity after many sexual partners. This is completely false and has no scientific basis. It's damaging to perpetuate such misconceptions, especially when they can create unnecessary anxiety or shame around intimacy. Instead, couples can explore the care method, which focuses more on emotional connection than the pursuit of orgasm. For some, this approach brings greater fulfillment, reminding us that intimacy is about more than just physical pleasure. It's about feeling seen, heard, and loved. Ultimately, sexual satisfaction is a journey, one that evolves as we grow, learn, and connect with ourselves and others. Whether it's through deeper emotional connections, physical exploration, or intellectual stimulation, finding what pleases us is one of the most empowering experiences we can have in life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment on number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. As we wrap up this deep dive into the complex and beautiful world of intimacy, attraction, and connection, I hope you've discovered something new or insightful that resonates with you. There's so much to learn when it comes to understanding ourselves and our partners, whether it's the importance of communication, the power of emotional and physical connection, or even exploring the little things that make intimacy truly special. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from this discussion? What's one thing you'll take away and bring into practice in your life moving forward? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us.